C.H.U.D.
C.H.U.D?
C.H.U.D.
C.H.U.D.
What?
Ooh, C.H.U.D.
No, don't go.
C.H.U.D?
Ooh, notices your chud.
No. C.H.U.D.
Chud.
Ooh, C.H.U.D.
Chuddy boy, come on.
Ooh. Such a satisfying word to say. C.H.U.D.
Yeah, it is. I'll give you that.
Hello and welcome to Oldie but a Goodie. Sometimes I write down intro ideas, but I completely forgot this week. And I was just like, I was going to say C.H.U.D. over and over again.
The only time I've ever had a bad intro was just Ben's one the other week, where I literally couldn't think of an intro, so I just read one of the quotes on my notes. That's definitely the worst intro I've done.
Yeah.
Sure.
This might be the worst one I've done. I think,
Yep.
yeah. A lot of mine are long lead-ups to dumb jokes involving the movie, whereas this was just the name over and over again. So I think this is the worst one.
But it's good, because it's C.H.U.D, and C.H.U.D's fun to say.
C.H.U.D is the name of a movie that we are reviewing this week on Oldie But a Goodie. This is the only podcast ever to exist.
Yes. It's the only one, which is why you're listening to it.
Yes, but it's also the only one to take the concept of reviewing movies.
Yeah, especially that. It's more unique than ever.
To make it even more unique, though, we are not just reviewing movies, we're reviewing movies from the year of 1984.
That one's actually like...
Yeah.
It's that actually makes us slightly different.
Yeah, we're the only show doing that.
But there was another one doing 1994, wasn't there?
It was 1999.
1999.
Last year.
That was
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great.
They were a very good show.
Really cool.
Check out that show. Or listen to our show for the 80s, because 80s are great, and we reviewed the movies.
And we're better than them, because we're the better podcast.
Wow. Podcast Wars. I've got one of the hosts on Facebook. He's going to send me an angry message now. You win some, you lose some. And by some, I mean...
The Podcast Wars, because we're bad. No.
In particular, the movies we talk about came out in the week the episode's going out. That is the premise. My name is Sandro. That is Zach.
Hi. C.H.U.D.
C.H.U.D. What did you think of C.H.U.D?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised that I enjoyed this film. It was definitely very funny.
Oh,
points.
Okay. I disagree, actually. I thought that this was incredibly serious, but I do agree in that it was good.
No, like, it was so bad it was good, sort of, like, the like, very start, where it was so startling, just suddenly, it's like, alright, there's a smoky thing, she's gonna walk near it, and, oh, she's dead!
Yeah, that intro was pretty...
It was, well, like, it was a very serious film, but it was funny at points, inadvertently. I thought, one of the characters, played by Daniel Stern, every time I see him on film, I find him quite hilarious. Also, the homeless guy that was spouting gibberish.
Love that. We'll get to that.
That was funny.
A lot of his quotes. They were very good. They
Oh,
were very funny.
fantastic.
And also, John Goodman's in this for a minute.
Yep.
That was cool.
He has a cameo before he was popular. So
He
there you go.
dies off screen.
Which is fantastic.
Also, spoiler warning to this whole movie.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with what Ben said last week in that it's less about the monsters. It's more about the mystery. And I liked uncovering that mystery. Uncovering that conspiracy. Government conspiracy. It was very good.
I thought it was particularly clever with the way it had multiple main characters doing their thing, which usually in movies is done by like big blockbuster other things, and they do it. But this is just like an indie film, and it does these like several different main characters that only their stories only collide at the very end of the movie. But it did it quite well.
Yeah, it had a lot of scope.
The cop and the shelter guy go to the photographers to steal his photos, and the main guy doesn't find the main photographer guy doesn't find out about that like at all. He just finds that his photos are missing, and it's like, oh no, someone stole my photos. So they didn't even collide at that point. It's just like they affected one another. It was cool.
One thing I loved about this movie is it has aged pretty well in terms of the content. Like, it doesn't make fun of homeless people. There's a serious conversation about having an abortion, which is like, this is the 80s. That's kind of amazing that they made it into a movie in the 80s. That's great.
No wonder it's rated so low.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool because it portrayed them as, the less fortunate. They weren't in a great position, but they were all pretty chill, pretty cool undergrounders. Till they got eaten by chuds, but,
The chuds looked cool.
Yeah!
That's the cover of the episode. You're looking at a chud right now.
That's a chud. It's a chuddy boy.
It's like a zombie with a fish face.
Yes, and glowing eyes. Because its practical effects holds up a lot better than a lot of non-practical effects.
Oh, yeah. So glad there's no CGI in this movie.
Yeah.
But the real question is, though, Zach, was this the best option of the week?
I don't know. Let's take a look. See, because your other options were the Oxford Blues. Hustler has to con his way into a university for a girl.
Oh, that doesn't,
We had Choose Me. 3 lives connect at a dive bar in LA.
Yeah.
That movie had over 90%. So it was probably really good.
I might watch it at some point, but who knows? Bolero, I think.
Bolero, yeah. It's in the 20s. A woman travels around the world to lose her virginity.
Oh, that again. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. And that one, though, is considered one of the worst films of 84.
It sounds awful. So, yes, I'm glad that people don't like it.
I'm glad we did Chud. Like, that one's rated 30%. It looks bad. But this turned out to be pretty entertaining, whereas that probably was just bad.
Yeah.
Flashpoint. Texas Border Patrolman finds a Jeep, a skeleton, and $800,000 in cash from 1963.
That's right, because I was going to choose Me, but because it was called Choose Me, I chose Chud. And I think those two would have been the better options. And I think Chud, we're going to have more to talk about, so I'm glad.
Yeah, I like Chuddy Boy.
All right, let's get into Chud. It was released August 31st. It is directed by Douglas Cheek, who only has one other movie credit after this.
Oh, yeah?
It is as editor and producer on a film from 2011 called Claustrophobia, except phobia is spelled with an F.
All right.
Everything he's done outside of that is like documentary work. So he's never gone back to direct a movie.
It's a shame.
It is a shame. He directs really well. I think he did a good job.
Yeah.
It's written by Parnell Hall, who's best known for writing a bunch of mystery novels that started in the late 80s. And I think you can tell.
Ooh. That's where the mystery aspect sort of gets in here.
For the cast, there is one thing that connects a lot of the cast, and it's actually quite funny. As you mentioned, Daniel Stern is AJ the Reverend Shepherd. He's kind of called the Reverend throughout this, because that's what someone at a shelter he runs calls him, so that's fun. He's obviously Marv in, Home Alone 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Also from Home Alone 1 and 2 is John Hurd, who plays the photographer George Cooper. He's the father in those two films.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
So that's one connection to Home Alone. Another connection is the guy that plays Captain Bosch is Christopher Curry, who is in Starship Troopers, yes, but he plays an FBI agent in Home Alone 3. Everyone's in Home Alone. The only person who isn't in Home Alone is Kim Greist, who plays Lauren Cooper. Aside from that, everyone's in Home Alone.
Yep.
29% on Rotten Tomatoes, audience score of 39%. Has become a cult classic, though, and also been referenced in a lot of movies and TV shows from people like Kevin Smith and Jordan Peele. A lot of directors love this movie, so that's cool. Shame about the scores. It's very low.
Yeah, it is very low. People didn't seem to like this one at all, which I was surprised.
Yeah, from the reviews you read, without giving anything away, really, for raving reviews, why don't they like it?
There's varied reasons. It's just like people don't like it.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't like the effects, they don't like the people. They complained about literally everything in the film. Like it's going through reviews. Everyone will complain about everything.
That's true.
There's nothing in particular I think people were complaining about. It's just the movie.
Maybe if you went into this scene, the name Chud, and also the poster, which is the manhole cover and like a hand coming out from under.
Yeah, I think people got the wrong impression of this film.
Yeah, I think people were expecting a slasher with these zombie creatures, and it's not that at all.
That was people complaining about the name. I know that. It was like, I don't understand. It's just C.H.U.D. It's an acronym. Blah, 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 blah. Acronyms. How do they work?
Stands for Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers. Or does it?
Dun-dun.
This cost $1.25 million. What do you think it made?
2.
Actually, more than that.
No, $2. Not millions.
Oh.
Just $2.
You think one person paid for this?
But only half price.
Half price,
Okay.
and on Cheap Tuesdays, and with a voucher
Yes.
for free popcorn.
Yes. No. 10 mil?
Less than that.
5 mil?
Little less. 4.7.
4.7. Okay.
So, like,
Yeah.
yeah. It made money.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Let's jump into the movie. I like the opening. I like half of the opening. I like half of what makes up the opening, because the music's great. All throughout the music, very good. What is the font they use, though?
There's 2 fonts.
Yeah.
There's the red font and the blue font. Are you talking about that red font, I presume?
The red font was okay. The blue font looked awful, and I'm not sure why. It looks like amateur work. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
it was definitely like stuck onto the screen. Like it was somehow green screened on, which is impressive for letters to look like they're doing that.
Yeah, it really is. And then also when that's kind of overlaid against the opening sequence of a street cleaner kind of going down the street, it looks off-center, and it's just poor font work. But anyway, the intro that you mentioned before, what happens?
So this lady, she's chilling. She's got a dog, and
Oh.
she's like, boop-a-doop-a-doop, I'ma walk my dog. It's like 8 o'clock at night, but sure. And she's chilling, and she's like, hey, I'm gonna walk my dog. Hey, look, is that a smoky, manhole? Let me just go stand by that for no particular reason. I have to adjust my shoe. Let me stand right next to it, and then, oh my god, an arm shot out from it. Help, no, somebody. Ah!
Yeah, it was, look, it is what it is.
Yeah. No, it starts off with a bang. It's a classic. Just like, boom, throws you in there. It tells you what this movie's all about. It's all about people getting ate by green people.
Yes. Because they are people that turn like that as well. We know
Yeah.
that. We see one almost turn into it.
I have questions.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
No. It's not about how it works, because we know how it works. There's radiation down there, yeah?
Yes.
There's radioactive toxic waste. And if you get exposed to it, you become a horrible C.H.U.D monster.
It's more like, how do your eyes start glowing then?
That's the radiation. Don't question it. Okay. The people get ate, yeah? If they're getting eaten, how are they turning to C.H.U.Ds?
Oh, that's what you're thinking. Yeah, well, because what I thought was happening was the C.H.U.Ds were the people who were stuck down there in the underground, who then got turned because of the radioactive stuff,
Yes,
and they were
well,
just
that's
eating.
what happens at first, I think.
But then, not to spoil stuff, it is very much like one of them gets bitten and then turns into one. So it doesn't. How does?
I think there's a whole, if you die down there, you will turn into one.
Okay.
If you die down there and not get ate, you become one of the things. Or maybe if you like lose an arm, that's fine. You can grow that back because radiation.
That works.
Although if you lose
I
your head,
guess.
that's bad, as we know, because badass female lead. She katanas a dude's head off, which is great.
That is very cool. I do have one, not question, just something I noticed about this opening sequence, because we see the woman get dragged down into the sewers and presumably eaten. We find out later that is the police captain's wife. And then when they find her body, she's not eaten.
Oh,
At
right,
least they don't
yeah.
show us. She's just
Well, no.
kind of dead. So we got our character of George. He is supposed to be a photographer, but he's just kind of ignoring the job that he's currently on. He's been hired to take photos of the homeless, of what they call the underground people, the people who live underground in the sewers and the subways. We don't really find out why until later, but yeah, he's refusing to hand in photos that he's taken of them and everything.
He has like a perfectionist streak. where he wants them to be perfect.
But he's also just lazy?
Yes, he's also very lazy and doesn't go out there and get them, and he doesn't want to reuse old photos.
Yes.
Like, he has integrity, but he's also very lazy and doesn't talk to people quite often. Like, he just doesn't. Which was kind of infuriating, I'm gonna be honest.
I didn't
just answer your calls.
It was a bit. Although I did like this first scene where he gets a call from the guy that he's working for, and they have a conversation, except he thinks he's on an answering machine, but what they're saying lines up perfectly. And that was pretty classic, but pretty funny. I know I loved, and I hope you did as well, the scene where his wife? They've got the same last name. I think they're married.
Oh, wait, they have the same last name. Then they're probably married.
Probably. If they have the same last name and they're not married. This is a whole different sort of movie.
That's a different story, but anyway.
So she's a model and she's getting ready for a photo shoot, and he walks in on her putting makeup in her bum, and he says, "Why are you putting makeup on your ass?" And I like that that's a line in this movie.
Why are you putting makeup on your ass?
And she says, "Because that's where a pimple is." But I just love that that's a line in this movie. That's a great line.
It's a good line. Although it does make sense. She's a model. She's got to have a nice bum.
Why are you putting makeup on your ass?
Why?
She's getting ready for the photo shoot, and she goes down into the basement of the building they live in, and there's creepy creature noises coming from underneath the floor.
There's a connection to the sewer in their basement?
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Interesting. I think it's in a thing. It might be a thing in an apartment building because they have to make... Because there's... sewer stuff is for multiple people.
I think also there are some cities that were built around the time of the wars and stuff, and they were there to kind of like escape, and that could... I don't know, yeah. I have no idea where this is set, but
wars,
that could...
you say? This gives me a sequel. No, I have a different sequel idea.
World War C.H.U.D.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
That's a good title.
C.H.U.D Wars.
C.H.U.D Wars.
C.H.U.D Wars.
C.H.U.D Wars. C.H.U.D versus Toxic Avenger. Oh, that could be good, though. That could be good, though.
Oh, yeah, no. Imagine, like, him in, like, a battlefield with, like, a katana or something. And there's just tons of these chuds going around.
Yeah.
Body parts flying everywhere. It's all gooey. It's all melty.
All the different groans. You'd have Toxic Avenger going, and then the chuds going, it would just be non-stop. Killing them left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Also, what was the whole thing with the person who also lives in the apartment that they're in, goes outside, sees some rubbish, and then it explodes?
Yeah. That always happens with, yes.
Yeah. And then there's blood. And she doesn't, like, call the cops or anything. She's just like, oh.
Yeah, so what happens in that scene, I know it doesn't explain it very well, but there's a homeless man in those boxes, you know, chilling, and then from underneath them, one of the chuds grabs them and, like, pulls them down.
Yeah, that's what I thought happened.
Because you see the blood.
And, like, that's the thing with the opening of this movie. It kind of sets it off to be a little bad. Like, for the first 10 minutes, I was very unsure about what I was getting into. But it gets better. Don't worry. It does get better. I think it gets better right away, because that's when we cut to the police station and we see Captain Bosch. He's there, and he's been ordered to ignore all of these different missing persons cases that have been coming in. He's been ordered to just completely ignore them. But does he?
I don't think so, Mr. Sandman.
No.
He's like, these cases are suspicious.
And also his wife is missing, so he's got more of a...
Yeah, so he's kind of concerned about the wife thing. I mean, like...
Yeah.
Gotta find that. Like, I'm not gonna ignore that one. Sorry, Chief.
Nah. Unless... No, I should. I really should follow that up.
I should probably... my wife? Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 80s, and I hate being married because it's the 80s, so...
Obviously.
I'll just...
Why would you like being married, ever?
A new missing persons report comes across the desk, and it's one too many, and he's like, that's it. I can't stand by. So he goes to a soup kitchen run by the Reverend, is what they call him.
That's a cool name.
And he's a cool guy, helping people out.
Yeah. I like the actor. I think we've seen him... have we seen him multiple times this year? I feel like he's one of those guys where I think I've seen him in things, but I haven't, because he's just around.
Let me double check. I'm not sure. Keep talking.
All right, I'm filling space. Hear me talking. Chud, chud, chud. Chud, chud, chud. Chuddity, chud, chud.
No,
Chuddity,
we
chud.
haven't done any movies with him in it before.
Chud, chud. Chud, chud, chud.
This is our first movie with Daniel Stern.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, he's great. He gets mad a lot, and those scenes are very
Yes,
entertaining.
whenever he gets mad, he's like, rah.
So he reveals that a bunch of, these people who have been coming to this kitchen have gone missing as well. All the people who live underground have been going missing, except for one man. And he's like, that guy there, he lives underground and he is still coming around. So they go and talk to him, but he's crazy.
He's absolutely mad.
He's saying stuff like, I know your work. You go by the name of being alive, and yet you are quite clearly dead. Which doesn't mean anything, but that's what he says.
Yeah. The homeless man is amazing.
They have the power to shut the sky. They have the power to shut the sky. It's the wrong inflections, but you get the idea of what he's saying based off that.
Yeah. He's a crazy man, and he nearly stabs the commissioner dude.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
He pulls out a giant knife, a very large knife implement, and the cop's like, "Oh crap, man! I should not have been so close." Wow.
So George the photographer, he gets a call from this lady in jail who he knows, and she's like, come and bail me out. So he does that. He goes over and bails her out.
Right when he's in the middle of a photo shoot as well.
Oh yeah, he completely ruins his wife's career, probably.
I don't know.
By just making fun of...
She doesn't bring it up.
Yeah.
Maybe they were finished. I think they might have been finished, but yeah.
I guess. Because he's like, oh, I don't know why you're using yourself to sell this product, and the product's probably awful, everyone here hates it, and she's like, shut up, this is my big break, you dick. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
What the heck are runes?
But yeah, he bails her out because she was out on the streets, and she tried to steal a cop's gun. That's why she got arrested. And George is like, if the homeless people, if the underground people are trying to get guns, something's going on down there, man.
Yeah, there's something happening. Why you try steal from a gun? And she's like, oh, because the guy needed it. It's like, why did he need it? And you say, I don't know. When he wants something, I get it for him.
Yeah, how about you come underground and talk to him yourself? So he does.
Yeah, you big lazy bastard.
Yeah, seriously, dude.
Come on.
And so they head underground. By the way, underground in this movie looks great. I like the look. Really does feel like you're underground and not in a set. But they come across a guy called Victor who wants the gun. And George is like, why do you want the gun, Victor? And Victor says, I want to shoot an ugly fucker who comes around here. That's what I want the gun for.
Which is relatable.
But something's also taken a bite out of Victor.
So the dude, is lying there, and it's like he's been injured beforehand. So he's clearly been bit by them, which is why he wants the gun.
But yes, something's taken a giant chunk out of Victor's leg, and he's there lying down with his leg half eaten, and it looks really good. I like the effect. The makeup that they put on his leg. It's good stuff.
Absolutely.
But back to Bosch and the Reverend. They are poking around in the sewers as well. The Reverend reveals that there's been a bunch of radiation equipment down there. They find a Geiger counter that just goes off when they turn it on. Yeah, no,
but not only that, it goes off, but gets louder, and then starts fading. And then they hear a roar, XD. XD.
I'm gonna come over. Daddy's coming over.
What? What?
That's what it says.
I mean, yes. Yeah, the Chud says whatever Sancho just said.
Hey, Daddy's coming. Oh, I feel gross.
Oh, no. That's the worst thing that the radiation does.
This is not a trauma film. If this was a trauma film, the Chuds would be saying that, constantly.
Absolutely.
That is a funny film idea, though. A bunch of zombies that just say, Dad is coming, instead of brains.
That sounds terrible.
Would that not be scarier, though? I think that's scarier.
You know what? I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
They're definitely scarier.
Dad is coming.
Yep.
That hurts my voice. I should stop doing it.
Please stop saying
I will.
that.
But only because my voice hurts.
Yep.
That's the only reason why. Otherwise, I would have kept going. Believe you me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And moving on with this film. They go up and the policeman, he's like, I gotta call a meeting of sorts. Gotta get the president on, except he's not the president. What place of authority does he have?
There's police chief, there's...
Because he's the police chief.
There's the environmental guy.
Yes. Is he like the like head of the city or something? Like city planner?
I think, yeah, or at least the environmental sector of the city.
Yeah, well, he's not really taking care of the environment, if you know what I mean, because he's just dumping toxic waste.
He's also working for the government, as we find out later as well. He works for the government for the C.H.U.D experiment.
Yeah, which it clearly stands for underground freaking zombie dudes.
Yep.
And not chemical hazard unit disposal or anything.
Doesn't stand for that. No, you're right.
Definitely doesn't stand for that. It stands for, like, cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers is clearly what it stands for.
Yeah, so he calls that meeting. While the meeting is going, we do get a scene where Lauren tells George that she's pregnant. And I thought that was a really nice scene, because he's like...
Yeah, it was a nice scene.
Yeah.
It's really good, because he's like, I'll go with whatever you want. Because he's like, it's your body, it's your rules.
Yeah.
You know, you can decide. Which is great. But then she's like, come on, I'm asking you whether you want to keep a baby. And he's like, do you want to keep the baby? And she's like, I don't know. I'll go with what you. And it's like, I want to keep the baby. And they're like, yay. Let's keep the baby.
Because she's a model as well, which means she won't get work for a while as well if she does, because it's the 80s. So yeah, I thought that was a good scene. I thought that was really well written. Considering a lot of the other garbage we've done this year, good on them, honestly.
Yeah.
But the meeting, as we mentioned... Oh, also, before the meeting, they break into the Cooper's house and steal his pictures of Victor's half-eaten legs.
Delicious, delicious legs.
So they have those pictures, and they go to this meeting with all the important people from the city. They present pretty much all of the evidence aside from the pictures, and none of them believe them. They're just like, nothing's going on here.
Yeah, nothing's going on here. Why would you think that, sir?
Yeah, people aren't dying.
Why? Everything's fine. Everything's cool. But then they pull up some evidence. First, they have a leg.
Yep.
Well, it's not a leg. It's a shoe.
It's a shoe, yeah. But
shoe.
It could have a leg in it. We don't know.
Well, that's true. It's never disclosed that there is a severed foot in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's a leg, which is really weird for them to lose. By the way, this is just a side thing. For all the things to lose, they lose just one leg of a suit. Like, how do you lose that?
It's a pretty chunky thing as well. Like, it's not a hard thing to, like, leave behind.
Like, it makes sense if they lose a Geiger or something. Like, they drop it and forget it or something. But how do you lose a shoe? Clearly, one of your suits out there is missing a shoe. And then you, like, go up to Greg and you're like, hey, where's your shoe, Greg? And he's like, lost it. What do you mean you lost it, Greg? How did you lose a shoe? Did you not notice when your giant, bulky shoe fell off? And he's like, it was just, flexing my toes.
Also,
giving them a flex.
It's very radiated down there, and they're wearing that to keep them safe.
Yeah.
If he lost it, his foot would...
Your foot is it's glowing. Your foot is glowing, Greg. My toes feel great, though.
What are you talking about, man?
It's me, Greg. I lost a shoe. Anyway, so they pull up the shoe, and they explain, there's radioactive people down there doing scans. They're scaring all the homeless people. What's going on here? And it's like, you've got no proof for that. And then they pull out the Geiger count. And they're getting pretty nervous over there. Well, at least one of them is.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm sitting here and I'm feeling a bit nervous. I'm tugging at the collar of my shirt. That's how nervous I am.
And they explained that while they were down there, they found this Geiger counter. And it started getting louder and louder. But then it started getting quieter.
Now you see the thing with Geiger counters is you turn them on, they usually do that. It's just a glitch. We've tried to get rid of it.
That all of them do.
All of them do that.
Unfortunately, the next evidence is a little girl thought she saw a monster, which is not compelling.
Which, to be fair, why would you bring that up? Like, in this meeting, if those two things haven't worked, maybe don't bring up the little girl who said she saw a monster.
Yeah.
Like, that's not going to work well for your case, I feel, in any situation.
Absolutely. And so they're like, well, that doesn't mean diddly squat. Now you look really poor on the evidence.
Yeah.
So, Mr. It's not Baron. What was his name?
I just called him the Reverend.
Reverend. Yeah. The Reverend. That's it. Reverend, he stands up and is like, well, I guess this meeting's over. Nothing matters. I'll just take these pictures to the press. And he's like, pictures? Mm-hmm. Did you say pictures? He's like, yeah. We've got all these pictures of all these victims of people down there. And then he tosses them one. You want to see one of them? And he tosses one of them.
It's such a good scene. He's so angry. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. And I'm going to go straight to the press with these pictures. And then he's like, well, no one's going to believe you. And he's like, I'm still going to do it anyway.
And he picks up a briefcase and he throws it. And inside of the briefcase that falls out is a file that's got the name C.H.U.D on it. And they open it up and they find out C.H.U.D stands for Cannibalistic, Humanoid, Underground Dwellers. And they're like, what in the world is this, Mr. Environmental Protection Man? And he's like, all right, underground, there are creatures. Radioactive creatures. I'm Australian now. How's it going?
I'm Australian. No, there's one. There's not multiple.
No, there's just
one.
One.
Creature.
And we're trying to get this ugly fucker. But we can't.
Oh, blimey.
He's alright, mate. I tell you fucking what, yeah. We're trying to get him, but we can't. And that's why we're gonna try and get him again right now with some men.
Well, yeah, there's also the thing he talks about, there's all these restrictions on moving all this toxic waste. Oh, man, remember that big kerfuffle? Well, it's stopping us from killing this dude because he's radioactive and we were trying to get permission to move him away.
I kind of love that excuse that they're like, we've got a bunch of toxic waste and we're trying to get it moved, but city council's not letting us, so we're just keeping it underground. Like, we're just going to keep it there until we can move it. Like, that's such a great excuse. It's so stupid. Like, seriously, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Who would believe you? That's so funny. But yeah, that's what's happening.
It's a complete lie.
Yeah, 100%. He's gonna send some guys down to try and kill this one singular creature. Meanwhile, George and Lauren are having a picnic, and this reporter guy called Murphy, he comes up and is like, hey, George, come help me with the story. And George is like, no. And that's that scene. That's that whole scene. And also, the Reverend has stormed out of the meeting and he is on his own. And the environmental man made sure to put a guy on him just to watch what he does.
Yeah, no. And is it the red shirt guy?
Yeah, red shirt guy with the glasses.
Oh my god, red shirt guy is the biggest dick in the history of the world.
He's
what
the worst.
An asshole. He should be arrested.
Also, like, it's so obvious. Like, he doesn't try to hide the fact that he's following him. Like,
yeah. Well, I guess it doesn't matter if the guy can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, not really. Not really.
He follows the Reverend to a phone, and as the Reverend puts a coin in, he presses the hang up the phone button, then grabs the coin, then eats it.
Yep. Yep.
Question mark?
That's pretty much exactly what happens, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's the worst. But anyway, they send these guys underground. One of them's got a camera, and Boschke's like, I'm going to send some guys down there with a flamethrower as well. And the environmental man's like, nah, you don't need to do that. Our radioactive experts, they know what they're doing. Just send them down. But Boschke does it. Anyway, he sends a bunch of cops down there with flamethrowers. So they're like, fine, we'll team up with you. They all go down. They're searching for the C.H.U.D. They're trying to find him and his signature phrase, which is, of course, who's daddy? So they're listening out for that. They've got the flamethrowers ready, and they pick something up. The flamethrowers are going, but it doesn't seem to be hurting it because the creature just tears them all to bits.
Yeah. Which is, you know what? A bit of a bummer, I'd say.
Yeah, that's like 8 people dead, I think.
Yeah, that's a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, those people, that's a lot of gore right there. There's some guts, there's some blood, there's a couple of limbs.
Yeah.
Whose limbs are those? We can play a bit of a puzzle game here.
We could.
Connect the limbs.
Yeah. It's like a jigsaw puzzle.
I'm surprised in the movie that they didn't suggest that. That sounds fun.
What? Hey, what's up? How's it going? I'm Police Captain George, and right now we're going to play a jigsaw puzzle, but instead of a jigsaw, it's a body.
Absolutely. Let's connect the body.
So the environmental guy, he's then like, all right, what we're going to do, that didn't work. What we're going to do now is we're going to flood the underground with gas.
Yes, because I'm a bad guy.
Like, it's a dumb plan, and this guy's full of dumb plans. Did it take you out of the movie with just how dumb that plan was?
No, see, that was so bad it was good. I was like, yeah, that's right. Gas these boys.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
definitely
what
agree.
is the ways it goes wrong? The gas escapes, causes a giant explosion, something.
The gas forces the creatures to come to the surface and kill everyone, which is pretty much what happens.
Yes, which is exactly what happens. Yeah, no, I can't see any way it could go wrong.
Definitely not. So he's doing that. That's his plan now. He's going to flood it with gas. He's pretty much decided on it. George goes home, and he sees that all his photos are missing. So he calls up that reporter from earlier and says, all right, fine, I'll help you. So they go underground, and they're looking around. They're looking through tunnels, and they're looking around corners. It goes on for a while, but eventually they cross this like T section.
Yeah, he has a gun as well.
Oh, yeah, the reporter has a gun because he says...
He just pulls out a gun.
Because he says, yeah, well, if the people down here want to get guns, I gotta get a gun as well, man.
Absolutely. Can't argue with that logic.
Anyway, he dies.
Yeah, as he he's starting to poke around corners, and then he pokes around one too many corners, specifically a tunnel. And in that tunnel is a friendly fellow who's like, hey there, friend. Can I have your gun and the rest of you? Because I'm going to eat you.
Yeah.
I am hungry.
That is
chomp chomp.
Not what happened in my version. In my version, he just said, hey there, it's Daddy, come play, and then killed him.
No. He's like, hey there, it's Daddy. Daddy wants to num on you.
Oh, that's even worse.
Give me your gun.
Yeah. How does George get his gun?
I think he drops the gun.
I think he must. Because, now George has got the gun and George is going around underground.
Because Daddy tries to grab the gun, but then Daddy doesn't get the gun. He gets the human.
Yeah.
Which is the second place prize. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I guess so.
Give you some num, bit of lunch.
Meanwhile, the Reverend is trying to boil some water on his gas stove, and the gas has stopped working, and he's like, oh no. So he goes underground into his basement, I guess.
I think he's in a basement already. That's where he chills. So he
of course
takes one of the tunnels.
Yeah, he goes into one of the tunnels, and the guy that's following him just locks him in there.
Yeah, because he's an asshole. He's actually killing a person, which is insane. That guy has no repercussions for his actions, and that's definitely the worst bit of this movie.
Yeah, we never see that guy again. There should have been a scene where he gets torn apart, 100%.
No. I just wanted him to be arrested, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Just in the background.
Yeah, I mean...
Or Eden.
Yeah,
look, that's
good.
vigilante justice,
Sure.
Either way. Or katanaed by the lady.
Oh.
Yeah, just see his head flying.
So the Reverend, he's now stuck underground, and he's like, fine, I guess I've got to find a way out. So he does a bit of walking, goes on for a little while, until he comes across, in one of the subway tunnels, just a whole bunch of chuds hanging out.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're standing around...
Worshipping?
Bodies? I don't know what was happening, but...
They're congregating. Maybe they're soaking in radiation from the toxic waste.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because one of them is kind of spilt over, as you can see. And they're all just kind of standing around it. So maybe they are. But he's like, oh no, there's a whole bunch of them down here. And he makes a run for it. And I think they see him and follow him as well.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of chuds running around. But let's go back to Lauren, because she's back at home. And she's down in the basement checking out what made that noise earlier. And so she lifts up the kind of flap wooden thing that leads to the underground that's in their basement.
Yeah.
And she heads down there, and look, it's just a dead dog. That's all hung up. Yeah,
it's alright. It's a classic. This is on the list of where the dog dies. This is a movie on that list. The dog is dead. It is hanging by its leash, which was kind of horrifying. I was like, oh man, poor dog.
Looked like a very real dog with its tongue out. Like, wow.
Yeah. I was like, no, it's such a bummer. They didn't even eat him. Like, come on, finish your food.
Also, how did that dog get hung? Was the C.H.U.D like,
oh, guess I'll hang the dog up now.
Yeah, it's time to hang the dog up. Oh, it's me, Dad Dog, gonna hang up the Christmas decorations.
Yeah, like, what was the C.H.U.D thinking?
Maybe the dog leash just got stuck. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe the dog's death is completely unrelated to the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's just a real freak accident. Bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
Hate it when that happens. When you're dragging a lady down to the depths and you accidentally hang their dog.
Exactly.
Maybe the C.H.U.D was like, oh man, I was really looking forward to having a pet dog.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's dead. Oh no.
It's dead. That's such a bummer.
That dog could have had such a fun life. A lot of free food, and as well, that dog, it would have gotten all the
delicious
leftovers. Yum, yum, yum.
Yum, yum, yum.
Instead, that dog's dead.
Yeah, very dead. Yikes.
Anyway, Lauren's like, oh, that was weird. There's a dog down there. I'm just going to go and have a shower. So she goes into her shower room, and she's having a shower. Meanwhile, we see that she didn't lock the basement properly, and a creature is coming up from out of the ground.
Hey. It's me. I'm coming to get you.
God, we're making this movie sound so bad.
We really are.
By doing this. We should stop doing that because none of that's in the movie.
What is in the movie, though, and this was kind of disgusting, was that she's in the shower and the drain gets clogged, so she uses...
Oh, yeah. This was like a scene from It.
It is. It's almost exactly like it. Yeah, because she uses a coat hanger to unclog the drain, and then blood just goes everywhere.
Yeah, so it was clearly clogged with dead people.
Yep.
Gross. And hey, at least she's in the shower, you know? She gets cleaned up pretty quickly.
That's true. Yeah.
So the next scene, she has no blood on her.
She's also just such a tough person because just none of this stuff phases her. Like the dog and then this, and then she's...
Well, she seems a bit upset after seeing the dog. Not gonna lie. She has a scene where she's pretty upset. But, like, after this, she just is, like, chilling.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, yep, the blood out the drain.
Yep.
Hate it when that happens. You know, every other Wednesday, you know? The drain gets clogged with guts. Hate it when that happens. Man, downtown LA, just,
Ugh.
Hey!
Oh no, there's a C.H.U.D in here. Oh my god!
Hello, it's me. Do you want to play?
Yeah, I want to play Chop Your Head Off. It's my favorite game.
Oh no!
Yeah, that was great. She just chops a C.H.U.D's head off. Because the C.H.U.D that comes up from the basement, attacks her apartment. It's quite a long sequence because she barricades the door.
She's like juking it around, jumping around, trying to run around from it. At one point, she gets stuck in a closet. It goes in, doesn't see her because she climbs up on one of the shelves, and then she throws like water or like camera fluid. I don't know. And he's like, my eyes! I can't handle liquids.
Yeah.
And then she runs out and she gets a katana. And then he bursts through a wall instead of coming through the door.
Yeah, the monster movie magic.
And then the monster's, like, neck grows?
Yeah, it's like,
hey, have you seen the movie The Thing? I can do it too.
Yeah. And then chop. Chop that neck.
And the green blood that pours out of the stump. Oh, it's good.
Gross.
It's disgusting. It looks amazing. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's really good. And then the head rolls away and its eyeballs stop glowing. And it's like, haha.
And there's a scene as well where, I think it's just before the monster attacks, where she's screaming out of a window. And it's good screaming. It's really good screaming. She does a good job.
Yeah. She's like, help. And there's like no one there.
She's great.
Yeah, really good.
Very cool sequence. I liked it a lot. Probably the only, like, horror movie sequence in the film.
Yeah, that's the real horror. Like, I mean, the rest of it's just... like people getting murdered by monsters.
Anyway, what happens when John Goodman walks into a burger joint?
He's like, hey there, sugar, looking good.
Yeah.
Something like that. And she's like, I heard that. And he's like, I bet you hear it a lot.
He just berates this woman, and I'm like, John Goodman, you naughty man, what are you doing?
You naughty, naughty boy.
Oh. And then a chud just rocks up and kills everyone in the...
Multiple chuds.
Yeah.
Because the gas has been poured in, so they're bursting out of the sewers murdering people.
Yep.
Good job, mayor guy.
Yep.
You idiot.
Yep.
You buffoon.
They really mess up that diner, though. Like, we see it afterwards, and there is just blood everywhere. They're messy eaters. They're messy eaters, those
come
chuds.
on, respect the establishment. Get some plates and napkins, at least. Come on.
Yeah.
They're right there.
Daddy said never to play with your food, but it's very easy to when they're running everywhere. Woohoo!
Please stop.
I hate
This is
it.
hurting me.
It's hurting me, physically. My voice is
Then
sore.
why
I
are
need
you
some
doing
water.
it? Just stop doing it.
So then we see that George and the Reverend run into each other at this point. Mm-hmm. Did you like the quote where George is like, hey, aren't you the guy from the soup kitchen? Real cool, they deliver.
Yeah. Well, that was a good line. It was like, oh yeah, real cool, they deliver. And now this is where our characters finally meet up. We've got the Reverend and cameraman teaming up together to try and escape the sewers because they're all trapped and are gonna die from gas.
Yeah.
If not gas, they're gonna die from the chuds.
Yeah, they're gonna die from either of them. And the police captain is up at the burger joint area. He's there. He's checking out what's going on, and he's
like, oh man, all my dudes got murdered very messily. I wish they'd use plates and knives and forks, you know?
Exactly. And he's just, once again, trying to convince the environmental guy, stop using gas, because that's what's going on. But environmental guy's like, no way, man. No. Just gas him.
Gas him.
It's the only way to go.
Gotta get them gas him. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna stop you. Gotta stop you now.
Yeah. Oh, the environmental guy is like, he's put cars over all the manholes as well.
To stop the chuds from leaving.
Yeah. Except that also means our heroes can't leave, which is a shame.
Yes. But luckily, they find some camera equipment down there.
Yeah, from all the guys that were murdered earlier.
There's a camera, and then they try and, like, motion at the camera. Now, the guy who's at the camera equipment doesn't notice them moving.
No, he's eating, and he's got his back to the TV. Classic hijinks.
So then they find the mic, which is on the headset, which is attached to a severed head.
Yes.
So they're like, oh, grab me some of that. And they're like, hey, anybody there? And the guy's like, oh, I heard something. What was that? Oh, there's people down there. What's happening? And he's like, get the commissioner.
They get in touch with the police captain, and he goes and talks to the environmental dude and is like, I need to get my men out from underneath the sewers. They're stuck down there. We got to get one of the manholes so they can get out.
The guy's like, nope. And he's like, oh yeah, but also we have all this evidence to incriminate you.
Oh yeah, he's like, also I found out what the C.H.U.D stands for Contamination Hazard Urban Disposal, and you're in deep shit, buddy.
Yep, and the guy, he pulls out a gun, and he's like, oh yeah, but what if I shoot you? And he's like, yeah, you gotta shoot a cop, idiot.
How about I punch you?
How about I punch you in the face? Whatcha?
Bam! And he's out.
Knocks him flat.
He's out.
Except he's not out.
No.
Because he gets back up after that.
Yeah.
But the police commissioner is like, all right, I've got to run to that manhole to free my boys.
Yes.
He moves one of the vehicles that's covering the hole, and then he goes to like pull up the manhole for them, help him move the manhole. I think he has a crowbar.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
But then environmental dude pops up and is like, pow pow.
Yeah, shoots him. He shoots him.
Pew pew.
Pew. I think
Shoots police commissioner.
he shoots him dead. He's dead.
No. He does come back to say some last words before he dies.
Or does he die? Maybe he lives. Maybe those weren't his last words.
Maybe he survives, yeah.
We don't know. But yeah, he's shot. He's out for the count right now.
Yeah, and then our two heroes pop out, but the commissioner, he's like, I'm getting into this vehicle. I'm gonna run you over.
Run you over.
So the Reverend is like, hey, look, a gun. I have an idea. So he pulls out a gun and he's like, kapow! Shoots the environmentals dude.
Yep.
Right in the chest. He misses the first shot, but then he aims carefully. Boom! Right in the chest.
And then the car goes boom.
And then the car, so what they've done is they rigged the cars to explode if they were, like, hit from underneath.
Yeah.
Just in case some of the chuds escaped. But the car drives over the manhole, which has just been opened, and, like, one of the wheels goes in, so it dips down, banging the underside on the pavement, and then it explodes.
It completely explodes. And
Very epically.
It's a great explosion. The characters standing in the same shot as the explosion looked a little green screened, not gonna lie. Just a little bit. Just a little just the depth of field wasn't quite perfect.
Yeah.
It
was alright.
But yeah, Lauren runs up and the Coopers are embracing. The Reverend goes to see if the police captain's alright, and he says, "Nice shot."
Nice shooting there, partner.
As he either dies or passes out. We don't know.
We don't know, because the film ends.
I'm very surprised the film didn't have a fake out ending with a chud running towards the screen, like every other horror film from the 80s.
Yeah, well, it wasn't terrible, so it didn't do that. Well, here's the thing. I think this movie was great because it didn't outstay its welcome either. It just ended there. We don't know what happens after that, but I'd like to say that the police commissioner lives, and what's his face? The environmentalist guy gets incriminated, and red shirt guy goes to jail for life.
And the Chuds eventually find their daddy.
Yes.
Because, we never find out what happens to the Chuds. They're probably still down there. They're not dead.
Yeah, no. They're still chilling. I mean, there's gassed, so any ones that down there are probably dead.
Yeah, probably.
But the ones up around are still chilling around murdering people, so...
I didn't even think about that. The fact that, there's a lot of stuff that they just don't wrap up.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
The story is about the characters, it's not about the creatures, and,
Yeah. This is a criminally underrated film, I feel.
This is a good one. I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
It's very suspenseful as well. The suspense was good because there weren't chuds running around going,
The problem is the people reviewing it were all complaining about everything and then just giving it, like, garbage reviews, and then other people who liked it gave it garbage reviews. Like, gave it garbage stars, which is always infuriating.
Just like last week, I feel like people think this is so bad it's good, and it's not. It's not in that category of so bad it's good, self-aware trash.
Well, no, but not even that. It's like, even if they say it's like, wow, this was real, I actually really enjoyed this, they still rate it like 3 stars. And I'm like, well, if you really enjoy it, or like 2 stars even, I really enjoyed it, rate it higher. Don't rate it low. Don't be a sheeple.
Despite that, this is a good film, and people should check it out. It's pretty easy to find for a film this, pardon the pun, but as underground as this. This movie is pretty easy to find, actually.
Hey, underground. I get it.
As cannibalistic as this, that doesn't work. Yeah, but as underground as this movie is, it is pretty easy to find.
As dwelling underground... chemical acid as this is.
But yeah, it's very good. It is 100% a goodie from me. I will recommend this to people. It's very fun. It is cheesy. It is silly at times, but I think that just adds to it.
I'll definitely recommend this to anyone who likes this sort of film, because I think it's a good film of its ilk.
Yeah, that's true. If you
don't like weird indie horror monster film sort of things with lots of gore, it definitely has a lot of gore, which could turn off people, I feel.
Not as much as like Toxic Avenger, but yeah,
but there's still quite a bit, and like severed head and a dead dog. People don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, that was gross.
Why did that dog have to die? Come on, man.
Poor dog.
Give one of the chuds like a radioactive dog, like a chud dog. That would be great.
That would have been good. Maybe in the sequel. But we'll get to that.
Don't want to talk about that. Yeah, I'll rate it a goodie as well.
2 goodies for Chud.
Yes.
It's also just a good movie title as well. I liked it.
Yeah, you've mentioned. Is that what you're gonna name your child? Chud.
No name.
The first one.
Hey, Chud, how you doing? I'm doing good, Daddy. Oh my, what? All right, that was weird. The sequels.
Yeah, no crap.
There is an actual sequel that's out right now. It's called Chud 2, Bud the Chud.
Bud the Chud? What?
Came out in 1989. It's a completely different team of writers and directors and casts and characters.
Uh-oh.
Do you want to know the synopsis?
Absolutely.
So the government are like, hey, this Chud thing we did was a bad idea. So they shut the C.H.U.D project down and they hired the last surviving specimen of the experiment, the last C.H.U.D, who is called Bud the C.H.U.D. They hired him underground in this small American town, and then a group of teenagers steal his corpse and reawaken him, and then Bud forms an army of C.H.U.Ds to attack people. It sounds genuinely terrible, and I never want to watch it.
Yeah, no, that sounds awful. Yeah, what was its rating on Rotten Tomatoes?
It's got 23%.
It's worse.
It deviates completely from the first one, and it's just its own trashy garbage thing that was actually meant to be a sequel to The Return of the Living Dead, and then was retitled because Bud the C.H.U.D, it's a funny name. So yeah, I never want to watch that. But there has been talks about a remake for a while. There's been various rumors circulating that have never really gotten confirmed, but there's so many rumors that it's hard to think that people weren't considering a remake. Like a Rob Zombie was going to potentially direct a remake. I don't like his movies. I'm not a big fan of him as a director, so I wouldn't have wanted to see that anyway. But yeah, there have been a lot of rumors about a remake circulating, which, you know what? Don't make it.
Don't need it. No, I think this one was good. I would like to see I don't know. I'd like to see a good remake. The problem is, if there's a remake, there's a potential it could be even, like, it would be bad and miss the entire point, which is the problem.
Yeah.
But if it could be done well, like a redone to boost up this franchise, because I like the concept. I liked where it came from. I like the mystery. Like, it's more about the mystery, not the monsters, but the monsters are still murdering people.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It could be really good. The problem is there's a high chance it'd be awful. They'd be like just generic zombie dudes.
But anyway, pitching our own sequels. My idea is a direct sequel. We know that this C.H.U.D project is run by the government, so the government are like, well, we kind of screwed up and created an army of zombies. Let's hire the only people we know so far who have been able to kill them. And they hire the Reverend, the police captain, Lauren and George, to go town to town, killing C.H.U.Ds. And it's the start of a franchise. I'm talking maybe 5 more movies. Stretch this out to 6 C.H.U.D films all in all, where they go to various towns, various cities, and they work their way through C.H.U.Ds. And of course, in every single movie, there's going to be a variation on C.H.U.Ds to get people back in the cinema. Like, if it's just C.H.U.Ds over and over again, that's kind of boring. So in the second one, there are C.H.U.D dogs, as you mentioned.
C.H.U.D dogs.
C.H.U.D dogs.
Absolutely. You got to get then, like, C.H.U.D cats.
C.H.U.D
zoo.
Whole
zoo of animals. Imagine a C.H.U.D giraffe.
That is not where I was going, but
that's horrifying.
That does sound awful. C.H.U.D giraffe? Is it all like melted as well?
Yeah. The neck's like wriggly. It's like wriggling about, and it's trying to chomp you, and it can do it from great distance. Its like body is like sort of blobbed, so it's just this long neck attached to a blob.
Well, you know what Lauren would do? She would decapitate the heck out of that giraffe.
Yeah, she like does a triple katana. Wacha.
Oh. Slices it up like food that you slice.
Really long neck of a giraffe.
Yep. That is not what I was going to do at all, but I love that idea. Yes, it's in the second movie. C.H.U.D Zoo. Maybe there's giant C.H.U.Ds. Ooh. Real tall, maybe real chonky C.H.U.Ds that explode into C.H.U.D-ness.
You have like a tall one because it's like fused out of like 3 people.
Yeah.
It's like 3 different people fused together because it's melted.
And then the final one is World War C.H.U.D, where it's just World War Z, but the C.H.U.Ds climbing over each other, climbing up walls and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Yeah. They're all awful, and they recast everyone by the third movie.
I think this is terrible, Sandra. You know why?
Why?
Because you're discriminating against the C.H.U.Ds. You're killing them. You're murdering them. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be accepting into society.
This is your pitch?
Which is my pitch.
Okay.
Which is people learn to accept C.H.U.Ds into society.
Alright.
As it so happens that they managed to capture these C.H.U.Ds, and then they everything sort of calms down, and we've got these new C.H.U.D people. Turns out these C.H.U.Ds can have families, babies and stuff. And so everyone calms down a bit, and now we have these C.H.U.D people. They're a bit aggressive, and there's a slight problem where they eat people. But there's negotiations, some talks, and eventually you get some C.H.U.Ds in, like, suits. They start a little town. It's called C.H.U.D Town.
C.H.U.D Town.
At the end, they all... it turns out they've all been planning to do an uprising.
Of course.
And they just... The uprising starts and they start murdering people.
This is just Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
But Planet of the C.H.U.D.
Planet of the C.H.U.D. That's the one that comes after this. Is that they succeed in their uprising.
Yes. Well, I would watch one of mine, but I think I would watch all two of yours. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Planet of the C.H.U.D.
Planet of the C.H.U.D.
And C.H.U.Ds in Society is the first.
Oh, okay.
The first sequel, I should say.
Well, I guess we've now got to do the segment. Again, the audience score makes me not very excited, but, you know.
Yeah, I only got a few of them because most of them made me mad because, like, if you liked it, then why rate it so low?
It is our duty to do these reviews, so I guess let's just get it over with.
Yep.
Let's pull
Rotten
the Band-Aid
Tomatoes,
off.
we got some reviews. Gotta guess them. Robert says, "Oh, what a scary movie. Not. I can only give this movie a very low rating."
So I've got to guess between 1.5, no, 0.5 and 5. Low rating. I'm going to say 1.
You're gonna say 1? Oh, you mentioned the score. It was 1.5.
Oh, it is 1. Okay, all right.
Richard says, "If you disregard the slow build-up and the worn-out assumptions behind the storyline, this horror movie's not bad."
I'm going to go 3.5, I think.
It's a 2.
Oh.
It's a 2 out of 5. Not bad is apparently a 2.
Bad as a 2. That's not right, but okay.
Yep. Muhammad says, "Daniel Stern at his greatest, I guess."
It's not really, though, is it? I would say he's better in Home Alone. He's good in
Yeah.
this, but Home Alone's, like, fantastic. So
Yeah, Home Alone's a classic.
that's a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
2.5, I think.
It's a 2 out of 5.
Oh,
Nope.
close
Greatest, I guess. Guess that means 2 out of 5. Alright, Graham says, though, awesomely bad and a lot of fun to watch.
Something bad. A lot of fun to watch. That sounds like a... Oh, I don't want to go too high, though. I don't want to go too high. I'm going to go 3.
Yeah, it is a 3. Well done. Orlick says, "Shockingly good 80s horror movie. C.H.U.D's no dud."
C.H.U.D's no dud is great.
C.H.U.D's no dud.
How long did it take that person to come up with that? Because
I have no idea, but
good.
it's definitely the best review I found. So it's
C.H.U.D's no
the final
dud.
one.
I don't know.
Shockingly good 80s horror movie. C.H.U.D's no dud.
I'm just going to go 4, I think.
It's a 3.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
a
3 out of
3.
5. If it's no dud, why is it a 4? People just rate movies higher if you like them. Don't listen to the critics. If you like a movie, rate it good.
Well, that's...
Ugh.
It's Raven Reviews.
And I have to agree. C.H.U.D's no dud.
C.H.U.D's not... Yeah, this film is not a dud. And its name is C.H.U.D. And that is
Yep.
the movie. And that is the episode. Thank you so much for listening. We mentioned it last week, but Zach, you appeared on Nerd Out Consumed on last Wednesday to chat about 3 Star Trek movies.
Spark.
What was it? It was Star Trek 4, Star Trek 5, Star Trek 6. It was a fun episode.
It was good. It was really good. I liked the movies.
They were good movies.
Some of them more than others.
One of
But,
them
yeah.
less than others.
But still enjoyable, I say.
I disagree, but you're allowed to have that opinion.
Yeah.
Check that out. Link in the description. That is the episode, though. Thank you so much for listening, Zach. People can find us on so many apps, can't they?
There's a lot of the Spotify,
Yes.
Facebook,
Yes.
Instagram. Not so much.
We should create an Instagram account.
We should. I won't use it.
Episode 90. Episode 90. We'll make an Instagram account.
YouTube.
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
iTunes.
Yes.
Whatever podcast app they have nowadays.
We're on all the podcast apps. We're on Pandora. Other ones. Podcatcher. Is that an app or something you just put an RSS feed into? I don't know. We're on it. We're on everything. Check us out. Just Google us, Oldie Buddy Goodie, or Google me, or Google Zach, and you'll see our faces and be like, ew. And then you'll find the show and be like, nice.
Yeah.
That's how the internet works. Zach, you're picking next week's episode.
Yeah, what have we got for choices, my friend?
3 options.
3 of them, you say? That's more than 1. And 2.
Number 1 is called The Brother from Another Planet.
Okay.
Set in New York City, particularly the area of Harlem, an alien who calls himself The Brother hides as a mechanic while on the run from his home planet. Your other option is Nothing Lasts Forever. It is a sci-fi comedy movie that never came out. It has since been released, but it was pulled from the release date of the first week of September, just before it was meant to be released, and it never actually came out. But I've got it as an option because it is available on the internet. It is about an artist whose life changes when he has to travel to the moon to spread peace around the world.
Wow.
Stars Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and also the kid from Gremlins. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And it's black and white as well. It's heavily stylized. And then your third and final choice is The Warrior and the Sorceress.
Ooh. Okay.
Set in space.
Ooh.
A warrior sells his skills to various villages,
Okay.
but gets caught up in the middle of 2 clans and decides to play them off against each other as he sets his sights on a sorceress.
Oh, okay. That sounds interesting.
They're all technically sci-fis. One of them is about a guy hiding as a mechanic, an alien hiding as a mechanic. You got a comedy about spreading peace around the moon. Then you got a fantasy space film here.
I do like me some fantasy.
It does look a lot like a Conan sort of movie.
Maybe we can compare it to Conan.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's also filmed in Argentina, it's where my fam's from, so, that as well.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that then.
It's also a porno.
What?
But you picked it. Warrior
What?
and the Sorceress next week.
No, hang on. What? Sandro, explain.
Next week.
Sandro,
Look,
explain.
on Wikipedia it says that it is a sword and sorcery fantasy movie with elements of porn. But we'll get to that next week.
Okay.
You picked it.
I guess I did. Can I take back my pick?
Nope.
Okay.
It's not even an hour and 20 minutes. It's so short.
Okay, well, at least it's...
Oh boy, you really just picked that. You picked the joke option.
Yeah, well, you're the one who put it there.
That was not. I was expecting you to pick Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray. Why did you pick?
Well, this one sounded interesting. I don't know.
Oh boy. Look, it might be a legitimate movie, but it also might not. We'll see.
Why would you put it there if you didn't want me to pick it? God damn it.
Are you excited?
No.
I think we're both going to rate this the Cracked Award.
Yes. Definitely cracked. Which is not a great name for our award for this one. Anyway.
Well, next week, Warrior and the Sorceress. Don't watch it along with us. Let's wrap it up with the best quote from C.H.U.D. What have you got?
Hey, it's me. I'm a C.H.U.D. I really like to live in society with my new C.H.U.D dog and all that. Please don't discriminate at me. And don't look at those plans we've hidden for taking over the world.
Hey there, fellow C.H.U.D. I got a question for you.
Yeah, go shoot.
Why are you putting makeup on your arse?
There's a pimple there. I gotta clean it up. Gotta bubble shoot.
You sound like Yoda.
Put the makeup on my arse, I will.
Got to look sexy for a perfume ad.